Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out the brand new Google Pixel Buds Series A. And essentially what these are is a little bit more of a scaled back version of the Pixel Buds 2, which makes them more affordable, coming in at $99 instead of the price tag of $180 of the Pixel Buds 2. So to do that, they did have to pull back on some features. We're going to check out what they did have to remove. We're going to see what comes inside the box. We're going to talk about the sound and see if these are actually worth the $99 price tag. So to start with, let's just go ahead and talk about what Google's trying to do here. I think they're trying to make a more affordable version of the Pixel Buds so that people can kind of add them on if they're picking up the new Pixel phones. But we've seen Google do this with their lineup of phones anyway. We've seen the 4A and the 5A, which basically is the same version of the phones that have been released, but they do pull back on some features, maybe some features that people aren't using as much, and it just gives consumers a little bit more of an affordable option if they're looking at buying any of Google's products. And so I kind of see it as Google's way of offering, like Apple offers the AirPods and they have the AirPods Pro. You have like two different options out there. There's a pretty significant price gap between the two, but they're essentially doing a lot of the same things. And with saying that, we can start with the drivers that these use. They are using a custom 12mm dynamic driver, which is the same one that's in the Pixel Buds 2. These do work best with Android. I think if you're using these with an iOS device, it pretty much strips a lot of the features that you do get with Android. I do know that you can use the app with these. You also get the fast pairing option where it just pops up on the screen as soon as you open the lid, and you just connect that way, and it allows you to see the battery status level. It just works very fluid, again, kind of like AirPods do within the Apple ecosystem. Now, as far as using the app, the benefits to using that is it does give you control over the adaptive sound feature. Now, this is a feature where the volume will just raise or lower just depending on the surroundings around you. And I feel like for the most part, this works really well. There are times where you hear the volume change and you don't really think your situation around you has changed. So for me personally, I just like to turn this feature off. But also within the app, you can turn the bass boost on. It has a Find My Earbuds feature. You can also turn the smart sensors on the earbuds on or off. So if you don't want it to pause when you take the earbuds out, you can simply just turn that off within the app. Now, as far as some of the technology that's in these, Google's not really saying which chipset that they're using, but these do have Bluetooth 5.0. They don't have aptX playback, but they do have AAC and SBC. And again, that's exactly like the Pixel Buds 2. And these earbuds also have the connection where it has your device send a Bluetooth signal to each earbud individually. And the advantage to that is it has it where one earbud is not depending on the other. And this also adds to having a more solid, stable connection. And so with also using these with movies, videos, and games, I didn't have any kind of lag at all, except every now and then with gaming. So if you're looking for a device around $100 to just use for all types of media, this is definitely one of those pairs that I would recommend. Now, if you're looking to use these outdoors, on top of these having the little fin already built in on the earbud, which just kind of helps keep them in place, these also come in rated at IPX4. So that's kind of like bottom of the barrel as far as water protection. But if you're outside and it starts to rain, or if this pair gets splashed on, or if you're somebody that sweats heavily, you're going to be fine. Just make sure that you do not submerge this pair into water. Now, as far as what all comes inside the box, you do get the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And then as far as the charging cable, they include a pretty long USB-C cable. And you do have to use a USB-C cable to charge these because the Series A does not have Qi wireless charging like the Pixel Buds 2. So that's one of the first things that they definitely had to pull back on. And for some people, that's not going to be a huge deal. And for a lot of people, I can see this being a deal breaker. Now, speaking of the charging, battery life on the Series A is exactly like the Pixel Buds 2, because on the earbuds themselves, you're going to get around 5 hours. With the charging case, you get around 24. And they also have the same fast charge feature where a fast 15-minute charge is going to get you 3 hours of use. So if you're somebody that's looking to get a pair to get you through a full day at work, you can use them for the 5 hours. If they're dead, throw them in the case for 15 minutes. You get an additional 3 hours, and there's easily 8 hours of your workday with just having to sacrifice that 15 minutes of charging them in the case real quick. Now, moving over to checking out the actual case, it does have that same smooth pebble-like design. You can see on the bottom it has that USB-C input for charging. Around on the back it has its pairing button. And then around on the front, this is one of the first things that's different as far as the design choice. The indicator light is actually on the top of the Series A, where on the Pixel Buds 2 it's more towards the bottom. And another difference is underneath the lid you can see that it's a glossy material around the earbuds, where with the Pixel Buds 2 it's more of a matte material. But that's not something that most people are going to notice. So as far as the design and build quality, you're not really having to sacrifice anything going with the Series A. Now, moving over to the earbuds themselves, again, these are designed exactly the same. Now, Google said they are slightly lighter than the Pixel Buds 2, but the huge advantage with this pair over the Pixel Buds 2 is the little ear fin. Now, this is not an ear fin that you can remove from the earbuds, and I always noticed with the Pixel Buds 2 that that little fin got uncomfortable after about an hour's worth of use, and sometimes you couldn't even make it to an hour. But with the Series A, it's definitely softer. It's not seeming to push your earbuds in as far. There's not really as much pressure on the cartilage up here. So this pair, in my opinion, is much more comfortable, and it's definitely one of those pairs you can wear and kind of even forget that they're in your ear. Now, as far as the controls, this is another area that's different on this pair because with the Pixel Buds 2, you had your tap control, but you also had swipe gestures for volume control, where with the Series A, there's no swipe gestures, which means that you don't have volume control. So you do have touch controls, you do have the ability to play, pause, skip your tracks forward, go backwards, you can summon your smart assistant, but I really wish they would add volume control to these, but I guess the fact that these do work with Google's app, hopefully they can add that later. I know they won't be able to add swipe gestures if it isn't something in the technology that's capable on these, but maybe they could just add an additional touch feature so that you have that volume control. Now, as far as you guys that do like to use your earbuds independently, because this pair has the connection where it sends a signal to each earbud separately, you can easily use either the left or the right with no issues at all. And as far as using these for phone calls, this is an area that I think the Pixel Buds definitely stand out, especially on earbuds that are more aimed towards Android devices. They're using the beamforming mics that are focusing in on your voice, and I think it also does a pretty decent job of blocking out my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the Pixel Buds Series A. I think these do a really good job of sounding fairly natural overall, picking up my voice. It does lack a little bit when it comes to bass tones, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you could hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound, because the sound on these, although they do sound identical to the Pixel Buds 2, this is going to be an area where I think Google either wins people over or completely loses them. Because if you're a bass head, this pair, in my opinion, just is not capable of giving you that very powerful thumping bass. And that's even with going in the app and switching the bass boost mode on. It adds a little bit more punch to the sound. But this pair is definitely focused on clarity and just sounding clean overall. You can tell that the mids have a really good upfront presence, whether it be male or female vocalists. I've never had any kind of issues hearing different characteristics or just hearing the singer sound up front. And same thing with the treble. The treble is very, very bright on these. It's extremely clean and detailed, and to some people, the treble actually is going to sound pretty harsh. Now, if you do like to listen to your music with the volume turned up pretty loud, the treble definitely sometimes gets gets to that point of being harsh. The earbuds actually have a vent on them, and also the way that they're designed is not to go deep into your ear canal. In fact, the ear fin just kind of keeps them in place, but it's not really pushing them down into your ears. So that kind of cuts down on you blocking out a lot of your surroundings. So if you're in a noisy environment, you are going to hear a lot of that coming through, especially if somebody's talking around you. I've just been able to pick that up easily. So if you're looking for a pair to just block out your surroundings, this isn't going to do that. But this is a very spacious, airy, detail-sounding earbud. So I think this checks a lot of the boxes if you're somebody that likes to listen to podcasts, if you're somebody that likes to watch movies or videos, because this pair definitely brings out dialogue easily. But I still think it's an interesting item for a lot of reasons, because right now the Pixel Buds 2 are on sale for $129, which only makes them $30 more. And at $30 more, you're able to get Qi wireless charging, you're able to get volume control. You also get the attention alert feature that the Pixel Buds 2 have, where if a dog's barking or a baby's crying or a siren's going off around you, it will let you know that. Now that may seem gimmicky, but I think it's nice that it has that feature. And then you also have wind reduction when you're going to be using your earbuds for phone calls. So that additional $30 is getting you a lot more features, but you, again, can save that money, pick these up for $100, and actually get a lot of the same features and get a more comfortable earbud overall. So I do understand what Google's doing with this pair. It's a more affordable option. When the Pixel Buds 2 are not on sale, it's an $80 price gap. And at that price comparison, I would easily go with the Series A. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Google Pixel Buds Series A. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.